You've made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. This episode is brought to you by Peach State Payments. Ethical processing, more profit, less stress. Chiro HD, more than an EHR. Practice management simplified. The Chiro Speaking Company. Attract, educate, and convert. Chiro Spring, cloud-based, user-friendly software with all the essential features chiropractors need. OmniWave, redefining comfort and acoustic wave technology. The Chiro Hustle podcast is sponsored by Chiro Health USA, ChiroScript AI, Chiro Moguls, Pure Chiro Notes, 5-Star Forge, Titronics, Sherman College of Chiropractic, Life Chiropractic College West, and the IFCO. Let's hustle.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 744 of the Chiro Hustle podcast. I'm your producer, Luke Millette, and here's your host, James Chester.
So today we had the opportunity of interviewing Dr. Bradley Walter. And if you want to hear our conversation about the power of your identity, faith, and fasting, stay tuned for the full episode. Welcome back. This is another episode of the Chiro Hustle podcast. Today I have Bradley Walter on with me. Episode 744. We just keep banging the drum over here. Before we get into this episode, I want to let you know our big why. Why do we do what we do at Chiro Hustle? Well, first things first is freedom of speech. We believe that's very important, and we would never censor you. And we'd let every show we've ever recorded go live, and people can hear the messages that we disseminate. Pretty cool. Thinking about the bigger ideas in this world, we do protect BJ Palmer's Sacred Trust. If you don't know what that is, go into the show notes and investigate it. I don't care if you've been practicing for 3 decades, you're probably going to learn more about chiropractic than you previously did otherwise. So go check it out, BJ Palmer's Sacred Trust, and we protect that. We also believe in innate intelligence and universal intelligence. We believe that when man or woman, the physical, get adjusted, it connects them to man or woman, the spiritual, which creates educated intelligence. We also believe in body autonomy and medical freedom. If you don't know how to find that, go find a chiropractor in your city, your state, your neighborhood, and you can thank me later. This is episode 744. Dr. Bradley, welcome.
Hey, Jim. How you doing today, buddy?
Like I told you in the green room, it's the best day of my life.
Oh, that's so good to hear. I get
to do stuff that I enjoy doing. And one of those things is talking about this topic of chiropractic.
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Well, that's good because I'm a chiropractor.
Mm-hmm. Well, yes. I was hiking with a friend last night, and I said, look, if everybody's head was on straight, they'd make good decisions. And if we just went around the world and adjusted C1 and C2 of all the political heads and people in the cabinets and all the different things, the parliaments, and we just adjusted C1, C2, people would vibrate at a different frequency, and we'd have a different world that we'd all live in right now.
Absolutely, man. I agree with that statement for sure.
Well, I know today we're going to talk about this about face and healthcare since 2020. We can talk about all the stuff. It's cool. Yeah. You've been doing some TRT. You wanted to go down that path and talk about how that's helping people. And then power of identity, podcasting and faith and carnivore lifestyle and fasting type stuff. So those are really fun topics for me too. But chiropractic, how long have you been doing it?
So I've been a chiropractor, graduated in 2008 from Palmer, class 081.
Okay.
So pretty awesome. Iowa. Yeah, Davenport, Iowa. Yep.
Well, for the people that listen to my show, they know I'm from Davenport. So pretty cool that you got a chance to have a cup of coffee in the D-port.
Yeah, definitely. That's great. Yeah. So I graduated in 2008 and then moved back home for a while. Home is Omaha, Nebraska, while I sought out where I was going to work. And then moved out to North Carolina, where I'm at now. Yep. Worked under a guy for about 4 years and then moved to Wilmington, North Carolina at the beach. Associated for a little while and then opened my own practice in 2013.
Yeah, the journey's always interesting, but why did you choose chiropractic? I mean, you could have been farming being in Omaha.
Yeah. Why did I chose chiropractic? I used to say chiropractic chose me because I was one of the rare breeds that entered without being adjusted.
Wow.
Yeah. So the reason is in Comp 2 undergrad English class, we can write our 13-page paper on anything we wanted to write. And I chose to write it on chiropractic. Random, which seems to be the way, well, what appears to be the way things go sometimes, right? Random. But upon reflection, when I was a kid, I told my mom, she lives in Virginia, just about 5 hours north of me. And I always told my mom, I said, I'm either going to be a baseball player or I'm going to be a doctor. Since I was like 9 years old, right? Before that, I wanted to be a lounge singer. So do the math on that one. Yeah. But so I would sit in class. I really didn't pay attention too much in school at first until it counted in high school. But I had a notebook that I carried with me wherever I went, and I just worked on signing my signature for my baseballs or my script notes. Crazy. So English class, I decided to write on chiropractic, and I fell in love with the philosophy.
Amen.
Yeah. And
how do you feel when a guy that isn't a chiropractor as myself opens up my show and talks about innate intelligence, universal intelligence, educated intelligence, sacred trust stuff?
It's awesome. Not enough people know about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even less know about that than they know about chiropractic.
Yeah. Oh no, there's a striking, sad statement.
Yeah, I mean, the universal law of health and healing needs to be more attention to. I do another podcast called Get Better Faster.
Mm-hmm.
And this last guest we had on there was talking about holotrophic healing and how to heal through the hologram of yourself. And I was just like, wow, this is some really interesting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it just made me resonate with like this idea that people say that there's no money in healthy people. I'm sure you've heard that before. I want to change the paradigm to there is money in healthy people. Absolutely. And we just have to be better light sources to deliver that message to more people. I know you're a man of faith too. That's one of the things that we share in common.
We live in a country that feeds on sickness and disease, right? As far as an economy.
It's a world, bro.
That are the principalities would be trying to get its people healthy if that's going to bankrupt them.
So we just have to think differently, Dr. Brad. We have to think about how can we change this idea of what's being shared out there and disseminate it from the rooftops like BJ would.
Yeah.
And share it from the rooftops from around the world that there is a healing art out there called chiropractic, and it's not about your pain. It's about your human potential. It's about your full life capacity to be a better version. Like I said, if we adjusted C1 and C2, different outlook on the world, bro.
Absolutely. It would be, just think about it.
Well, their head's on straight.
It's the big idea, right? It's the poster that sits right in the middle of my office, right in the waiting room, right in the middle for everybody to see. The big idea.
Once you get the big idea, fill in the blank.
That's right.
All else follows.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
pretty cool stuff, man. The philosophy is powerful, and we need more people to understand it, especially the kids going through the programs, especially the new grads. I urge everybody in their community to start philosophy night in your city. Invite all the chiropractors, get tacos, invite the whole crew over, adjust everybody, talk numbers, talk about how you're doing, help each other, come together as healers in your community. I think it's so powerful when people can think on that level.
Absolutely. And it's all about just serving the one. It's all about, hey, who could I impact today?
Every chiropractor should be going to every campus across the United States and around the world and giving workshops and talking philosophy to those students off campus, buying them drinks, buying them pizza, buying them wings, whatever. Just get them together. Go there and talk about one line out of a green book once a month. There you go. Call it Green Nights. Bring them all together. Yeah, bring them all together. Yeah, bring them all together. But 2020, man,
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
everybody knows 2020.
yeah, I
I'm not
mean,
really here to rehash that whole process because it was terrible for everybody, right?
yeah, I mean, I
But
honestly, I think we should talk a little shit because I
yeah,
lost my mom and two brothers from
mm,
2020 to 2021. So I have a little bit of, you know, a medical feeling about this world, and I'm
yeah,
sure you do too. And I don't need to like labor the fact that I lost loved ones because a lot of people did,
yeah,
but there was a lot of things that were, I believe, destructive that happened to hurt people. It was definitely menacing, and it was definitely widespread, and everybody was touched by it.
absolutely. And with that came the big cloud of fear from the spirit of the age, right? That set upon everyone, and that's what caused a lot of division, irrational division amongst the people. And we still see effects of that today, and it's all I think today, right now, there's even more confusion because the veil was removed in 2020. And isn't it interesting? 2020 is also the measurement for perfect vision.
Mm,
You
bro,
know, and
I was
and like
coming into the world. That was my mantra.
yeah,
When I was coming from 2019, that last quarter, I was
hmm
like, this is the year's perfect vision. And
yeah,
it
the year.
wasn't the vision I wanted. I wanted a more prosperous world with better things, not destruction and death and mayhem. But it did give us perfect vision.
It did give us perfect vision, and we saw the impacts of where we're blindly leaving our trust, where we're blindly placing our trust, and it was in the system, right? In the system of healthcare, in government, in all of these things. We're just going on living our busy lives, chasing the dream, not paying attention to those in authority over us and the decisions they were making. And then we were stricken with the plague, I call it, and from there everything disseminated, just disintegrated, that trust factor, and that's where we're at today. I see it in my patient community, in the practice family I have. I see it just everywhere, just the broken trust, and people don't know where to go, you know.
Yeah, I call what you're talking about is the teachers, preachers, parents method,
Yeah,
and what we learn. The reason people stepped in line is because that's what they thought was the right thing. You know,
right.
you have to be a real dissenting asshole like myself to say I'm not going to do what everybody told me to do. Like most people don't have the same grit and the same wherewithal that I possess to say I'm not going
Correct.
to do that.
Yes,
And
yeah, I agree.
it takes a tall order to say, I don't care what grandma and grandpa want. I don't care
Mhm.
what aunt and uncle want. I don't care what job wants. This is not a good idea.
Yeah, no,
Like,
correct. And I was right there with you.
this is
um
just not a good idea.
Correct. During that whole process, we maintained operation of our business, but I know chiropractors in Colorado, they were shut down for a while, right? They were not
You know,
considered essential. Um,
I don't know if it got to that point here. I just know that um, the people that were pulling the strings just
yeah,
wanted everybody to feel kerfuffled
yeah,
and out of their comfort zones. And they did a
absolutely.
damn good job of dropping a bomb on us and making us all feel scattered. I'll
Yeah,
just say, like, between 2021 and 2023, like, there was massive migration too. People were
definitely.
moving all over the place, all over the place. People were just tired of the politics. They were
Yeah.
tired of the way people manage stuff. So just to like give the optics to Colorado, I'm not sure exactly what happened in private practice, but I
hmm
will tell you that there was a lot of shift in the way that people
Yeah,
found stability of what they were doing for years.
absolutely. I'll tell you that migration's true because we've seen an influx of people from all around the country in our office coming in
Hmm.
as new family members, right? Families moving
Hmm.
in, and Wilmington, North Carolina is one of the biggest growing areas in the nation right now. Um, that said, I mean, we could talk politics and whatnot, but North Carolina is a great state for the most part. Uh,
Well,
But
let's shine a spotlight on the individuals. You're talking about people finding you.
Yeah.
Let's talk. I mean, let's talk to the students again, our young chiropractors. You said you started out as an associate, then you branched in to a membership model.
Yeah.
And now you're doing things a little different.
Yeah. Yeah. I still operate within a membership model when it comes to chiropractic. Currently my office is open office hours, so there's no appointments, but when I was in chiropractic school, Dr. Joe Peterson was one of my instructors. And, when you're young and in school, I wanted to serve high volume. So, what do I got to do to serve high volume? What's a good number to hit every week as far as new patients go? And I asked him once in class, I think it was lumbopelvic, Gonstead lumbopelvic he was teaching. And this is at Palmer. And I just asked him and I was like, what's a good number for high volume every week? And he looked right at me and he said, one at a time, whatever it takes. And that boom, it struck me like, yeah, okay. It's not about how many you see. It is about the one. And that's kind of been my focus from the beginning, at least with my own practice here in 2013 to today, which has been crazy 12 years. It's flown by so fast, but started off just pounding the pavement. And now we have over 400 members, that come into the office roughly once a week, a little bit more than that. When you break down the metrics, it's about 1.3 visits a week. So it's been exciting and truly just focusing on the one. It is all about attention and serving the one in front of you. And how I built my practice was just that way. So I end up right now, I don't do hardly any external marketing. All the stuff you see that I do now on Facebook is just strictly organic. I don't do any paid ads or anything like that. I have dabbled in it here and there.
I just want to go back from associateship to starting your own thing. What was the straw that broke the camel's back?
Oh, yeah. Well, I worked for an amazing guy. And when I was coming out of school, I felt the one thing that I was lacking was business skills. I'm sure many chiropractors can relate if you're relying on chiropractic school to teach a business. So coming out of school, I chose to work in North Carolina. Was one of the states that I had in my top 5 for wanting to live in. And I had a great offer offered to me by a man named Bob Stroud, who he just passed away this year. Amazing man, amazing chiropractor. He's one of the good chiropractors in the state of North Carolina. A lot of chiropractors use insurance. I learned that I didn't want to do that through my associateship that I did, just because of the headache of it all and having to know the medical diagnosis codes and all this stuff. It's just not my gig. Never really was, but was grateful for what I learned under Dr. Stroud. And I worked for him for 4 years, and then ran a satellite office of his for about 1.5 years. And then he decided to start consolidating and closed his office that I was running. So I just went on a job hunt and landed in North Carolina. Worked for someone here in town for a few months, about 8 months. And then I ended up taking about 6 months off because I was reaching my low point in life and reaching my bottom. I just entered a state of depression. Not really. It was more, I don't want to talk bad about people, but I just hit this low point and was really depressed from the environment that I was working in. Let's put it that way. And truth be told, just full transparency, and this is in any industry, but there's people that would just use their employees and try to squeeze them for as much as they can. Right. And that's just not the way that I am. So I hit this depression point and I didn't work for 6 months that's where I was.
I don't think you're alone in this message, and that's why I think it's powerful for you to do the share, because
for sure.
It's not always I got my sheepskin and I put my, as they used to say, I put my shingle out, and the next thing I know that I was busy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's not like that.
Yeah. Well,
if you're lucky, it's like that, but it's not typically like that.
It's not. And there's a lot of great chiropractors out there. I wake up every morning and my intention is to be one. And that comes with leading other chiropractors, right? And that comes with just leading in general, period. Not just in chiropractic, but my tribe is with me for a reason.
Well, you're talking about the person in front of you is the most important, right?
Yep.
Well, I live in PTC, which means present time consciousness. And I think we have to win this day for the profession, and we have to keep winning each day. And I think that by you sharing your story, it's going to allow somebody else to say, damn it. That makes sense to me too. And I guess where that leads me into focusing on the power of one.
Yeah.
How do you get people to stick with you? I mean, that's the other part about this profession. It's not just the philosophy we opened up with. It's not just choosing the style of practice that makes most sense to you. Yeah. But there's power in the PVA.
Right. Yeah. It's not just being present with the one, but it's also recognizing the one. Right.
But getting that PVA is a part of chiropractic business that you said they didn't teach you in college.
Correct.
How do you get people to stay? How do you get people to stick with you for so long?
It's all about the message, obviously. I mean, what is chiropractic? Chiropractic isn't a treatment for a disease or any pain or anything, but I'll tell you this, if you can be living your life with less interference, do you think that your body would be operating more efficiently in rest? I think it would. And that's what's missing. So as you go out in life, you're going to be catching all sorts of different stressors from all over, right? Just look out at the world. It's full of chaos. It's all around us. And so when you're out there, come back here and get checked. It's just, I'm just like the hub for the Mandalorian. The Mandalorian goes out and goes on bounty hunts, and he comes back and he gets his armor upgraded and polished and cleaned, and then he gets back out on the hunt, right? That's what a chiropractor does. He gets to meet with people on a frequent basis to polish the armor, adjust, and move on. It's amazing, and recognize the person in front of you and speak into who they are. Dig for gold, and not the worldly gold, but the gold of the individual. So that's how it happens in my office.
You've made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. This episode is brought to you by Peach State Payments. Ethical processing, more profit, less stress. Chiro HD, more than an EHR. Practice management simplified. The Chiro Speaking Company. Attract, educate, and convert. Chiro Spring, cloud-based, user-friendly software with all the essential features chiropractors need. OmniWave, redefining comfort and acoustic wave technology. The Chiro Hustle podcast is sponsored by Chiro Health USA, ChiroScript AI, Chiro Moguls, Pure Chiro Notes, 5-Star Forge, Titronics, Sherman College of Chiropractic, Life Chiropractic College West, and the IFCO. Let's hustle. Well, the fallout of symptomatology has been something I believe that has become very, very discussed. And I think a lot more times they used to believe that you came in and you got adjusted 3 times and you're straight. You're good for life.
Sure.
But I'm sure you've seen a lot more stress put on people, and not only like mentally stressed, but physically stressed
and spiritually. All three.
Yeah, you're seeing a lot of that, I'm sure. And I know you wanted to talk about soft wave, and I don't want to end the interview without you talking about how you've been helping people with soft wave.
Yeah. So soft wave is something that I was introduced to after I went to a Health Freedom Conference. And I was merely sharing information about vaccines with practice members, and I got connected with a friend of a practice member down in Georgia who had been injured by a vaccine in 2019. So this was pre-COVID, right? And he ended up being a quadriplegic from the flu vaccine. And he called me looking for help, and I got connected with a chiropractor in the area who was utilizing this technology, and he decided that he would go drive an hour and a half each way to this guy for like 8 times to treat him with soft wave, and the man was getting movement back in his hands and feet. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. And I just started seeing people in my office like, wow, soft wave could help. Soft wave could help. And when you understand the principles of how the technology works, it works with the very wisdom of the body. No different. It's merely a sound wave that stimulates the regenerative capacity of the body, all within the very systems that the body is designed to operate in. And so it was a sound that created in the beginning, and it's a sound that can create in the body, right? And it's fascinating to see the impact that has made, along with chiropractic in my office. From musculoskeletal problems to neuropathies to wound healing to traumatic brain injuries to post-stroke care, it's been pretty fascinating.
Well, it's fundamental, it sounds like, with the chiropractic philosophy too. The body needs nothing extra in it. It simply needs no interference.
Correct.
Once we clear the interference, the body self-regulates and self-heals.
That's right.
I tell people all the time, the number one doctor in the world is the one inside of them. But if the doctor's sick, we gotta resuscitate that number one doctor. And sometimes we have to work on the frequencies of that doctor inside of you. That's and right. If you could do it yourself, you probably would. So it's pretty cool that you're helping people with that acoustic soft wave technology.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. Like I said, it works with the very wisdom of the body, and that's the beautiful part. That's why I decided to bring it into the office, because it aligns. Even though it's not adjusting, it's still working with the very life inside of you, and stimulate. And it doesn't cause any micro traumas. It's all communication. So, which is pretty fascinating when you think even a chiropractic adjustment can produce some micro trauma to stimulate whatever, when you're talking just physical, right? But yeah, so all communication of the body, all within the design of how the body operates and communicates. It's fascinating. And
yeah, we're all tone, man. When your tone is when your frequency isn't firing, that's what the chiropractic adjustment does primarily.
Yeah.
Identity. I know you wanted to talk about power of identity. You're doing podcasts too. I'm going to be your guest today.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. But identity and podcasting. Why did you choose podcasting? Because 8 years ago when I started, I told everybody, I'm like, look, you guys got to start a podcast. You got to tell the story. If if you want to like brand yourself in today's economy with the information economy and the attention economy, you have to do a podcast. And like I was telling people this years ago.
Yeah.
So
you're
identity,
a visionary, that's why.
Oh, come on. but with you doing identity and you wanted to discuss that in podcasting, how do those two topics come together for you?
Well, the podcast is my identity.
Yeah, man.
In the fullness of the image of the message that I'm sharing, right? And you started 8 years ago. It's just taken me to this moment, this time, always recognizing. I think I had an inkling, I'm going to podcast, and I started building it out before, and finally this is the time, because this is just the time. And this year has been a year of obedience and discipline for me. So sticking obedient and disciplined to my calling, which is adjusting spines, aligning hearts, and speaking bold truth. That's my mission for life right now, until the Lord tells me different. And so Share your message because it's needed.
Were you always techie though? Like, were you always like
I've always been fascinated by technology, but never. I tend to be kind of pushy. Was kind of push it off a little bit, especially with Facebook. I got off especially right after COVID. Like I was a small little voice in the beginning, and then I just had to get out of it because I didn't have the right mindset for it. It all comes back. Everything comes back to mindset, right? And recognizing, I do have a voice, and people need to hear the truth about what's going on. And so, I just started a couple months ago. We've got a few episodes out there. I had my first guest just two episodes ago, and I'm about to have my second guest, which I'm excited about later today. But it's just about, really, the podcast is about breaking through the chaos and sharing simple solutions for health, freedom, and your faith. Yeah.
Who helped you get to the point that you're at today? Did you hire a coach, or did you just decide
I have somebody, Tim Holloway is his name. And I found him, of all places, on Facebook.
Yeah, well, cool.
He helps me with production and kind of steering the vision in the right direction, keeping everything in line. And
well, I was talking about this earlier on the other podcast that we started, Get Better Faster. And it was an interesting thing because they were talking about how a diagnosis can make somebody actually die. And when somebody says, "Hey, you got 3 weeks to live," they live for freaking 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And this is
only if you receive that.
Yeah. But that's the indoctrination that we've been led to believe that's actually doctrine.
Do you know what the word diagnosis means? If you break it down to its original meaning, it comes from the Greek, I believe. It means educated guess.
Well, that's just it. Is we use these words to explain to people like what they're dealing with their health, instead of saying, "Hey, let me put my hands on you and see what's going on," and actually do a full exam and let me adjust what's out of alignment. Way different paradigm. Way different.
Absolutely. It's about life. It's about life support. That's what I am. I'm a life support advocate.
But while I was doing this interview with this gal, and it just made me think about what we're talking about now, is like sharing your truth and aligning yourself with something. But you have to work on you first.
Absolutely.
Like until you got right with your mindset around social media and producing, the world was not getting your message.
Correct. And I'll tell you, I was sick. Literally. I mean, in 2018, I weighed 307 pounds, riddled with pain and shame. And it all goes back to my journey as a chiropractor. And my dad died just before I graduated, and he died in the hospital from the therapies of pancreatic cancer. He didn't die from the pancreatic cancer. He ultimately lost his life because of chemo and radiation. Was in the hospital in ICU for 6 weeks, last 6 weeks of his life, couldn't eat or drink anything. And I got to spend that 6 weeks with him because I fulfilled all my clinical requirements and was able to be at the hospital like 4 days a week, just spending that time. And it was the best time my dad and I had together. But it wrecked me because I thought that he rejected me by not listening to the guidance I was trying to give him before he got the diagnosis. And so up until this year, I've had a fear of man because of that. And I've been healed and delivered from that. And that's why, hey, I'm sitting on your podcast right now sharing bold truth. Like this is what brought me to where I am today. Not being afraid of man anymore, because I've been delivered from that, and recognizing that my words can have an impact on the one that the Lord has appointed to hear, which I believe is going to happen even through this talk today. So,
yeah, amen. Yeah, a lot of people need to hear what you just shared, and I think going through that moment, I was listening to a Joe Rogan episode. He interviewed this Navy SEAL. Can't remember the guy's name. It's Chad with 2 D's. If you guys want to go find Chad with 2 D's, it's a really cool episode. But he talks about seeing one of his mentors die in front of him, and how he started believing in God way different after that moment of seeing Mr. Don. I think his name is Mr. Don pass on.
Yeah.
And he said it just changed his idea about what he thought about faith.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's everything.
And getting your body back. What was your method of getting your body back down and cutting off the weight?
Yeah. Originally I was just doing OMAD, which is 1 meal a day. Started that route, and then I got into this diet. I've always had a pretty extreme conviction of matters and can commit to crazy things. So I did what's called the snake diet for a while, which is long fasting, like 3 to 5 days of fasting, and then you give yourself an hour and a half on one day to feed. I did that for a while, and then that got me down to 200 pounds. And then I started bouncing back in about 2022. My wife was diagnosed with cancer, and I started bouncing back, eating more, just undisciplined, not eating real food. And then this January, I committed 100% full on carnivore, which has been fascinating. Just what I've seen with myself. Plus I've led a couple challenge groups of about 60 people, through, and have seen people get off of medications and all sorts of stuff that they've been on for years. And heard some pretty awesome stories of doctors scratching their heads at, what are you doing? Like literally doctors scratching the pen on their head. Like, you haven't had these good of numbers since 2006. All with just changing up how you feel your body, eating real food.
When you change, everything changes around you.
That's right.
Some philosophy. You guys know I love philosophy over here. So let's go speed round. I want to go back to chiropractic a little bit.
Yeah.
Where do you see the profession headed? Where do you see it going in the next 10 years?
I think it's a bright one, regardless of what we see today as far as leadership goes. I think the time is ripe. I think the soil is ripe for the true healthcare providers to rise up in the world that we're in, because of the trust that's been broken by the system, from the lives that we've been living the last 5 years. And that's kind of where we're at right now. People are just so confused with, who do we believe, and what do we believe, and what is real, especially when it comes to health, right? So I think the future's bright. I'm confident that there's some rising stars. Can you imagine being in chiropractic school now after living through this last 5 years? It's got to be a bright future ahead.
Except for there's some hinges that are a bit rusty when it comes to allowing the full potential of an education.
Yeah.
And I think
that's where the ones like myself and like you advocating and doing podcasts like this and going to schools and speaking, like we kind of discussed in the green room, every chiropractor should be going and hosting events for students, right?
All the time. It should be passe that so many chiropractors show up off campus and feed them and speak life into them. And teach them and pass on the knowledge and the wisdom, and reparent and educate those students with what desires you have and what drives you have to become the practitioners that you are. The future is the student, and the future is the young practitioner. So you're spot on with that. And if people knew what we know, they'd do what we do. They just don't know it's called chiropractic. So
that's right.
You're right about that too. Who are some of the people? I know you said you took that associate job, but who are some of the people? You said you never got adjusted. and you got into chiropractic college.
Right.
But who are some of your mentors that you've learned this game of chiropractic from?
The most connected one-on-one mentorship that I received in my chiropractic life was from Tim Langley.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
out of
Tim.
Georgia.
Yeah. He was like Papa to everybody.
He was like Papa. Yeah. Him, Joe D'Onofrio, Jay Corson.
Yeah.
Those three. I've always enjoyed Billy DeMoss out of California.
Yeah, for sure.
And Sean Dill.
Okay. Yeah. I've had a chance to I don't know if we had Tim on the show. I think we did interview Tim Langley back in the day.
Yeah. You're probably talking guns and stuff.
But we definitely had Sean Dill on and Billy DeMoss. I don't know if we've had Jay on though. Maybe we have. I mean, at this point, we've done 1,400 interviews in the past 8 years. Half of them haven't become episodes, but some of the names that you mentioned, it just kind of relights a fire in me as to what you need to become for that next person to learn from.
That's right.
Those are big shoes to fill, but they always say that chiropractors stand on the shoulders of giants. So keep on keeping yours healthy and strong, man, because the world needs you. Let's close this out with a miracle story. Something you've seen over the course of your career that we can send off the listeners and the viewers with.
Yeah. Well, I have a couple, but I think the most profound for me was a little boy, a 5-year-old boy. I mean, he was, and this won't be much of a miracle for chiropractors, but maybe for the families out there that have little kids, or even the students coming in. But this 5-year-old little boy had been constipated for 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember my reaction. I checked and adjusted his spine, went down, adjusted L5, and immediately he wasn't constipated anymore. Had to shut down the room. And I was just like, yes, praise the Lord. There's that. There's a man I never got to adjust. I sat with him for a consult, and he was going in for a neck fusion. And praise the Lord, I laid my hands on him and prayed for him. And he went to the doctor, and the doctor told him that he didn't need to have his neck fusion. That's a miracle. I have some pretty awesome adjustments that have happened with no hands being laid. So much that the patient gets rocked by the sound of the cavitation coming out of their spine. That's a miracle.
Yeah, and that's just the thing, is why I've been such an advocate of the profession and have worked tirelessly to promote the profession for the past 16 years.
Yeah, I think it's important for the chiropractor to recognize who they are, what they carry, being fully present with the one, who that one is, recognize who that one is, and what actually is happening during an adjustment. I'm not the one who actually delivered. I may be the physical, but to me, in my mind, I'm no different than the wind. But there's the intention, right? There's the connection. That's the difference, because it's the life inside of you that recognizes the force and has to adapt that force into a living force that makes the correction. And that's the beauty of what we get to do. That's not symptom-based care. That's life.
Mm-hmm.
So
once again, if people know what we know, they do what we do. They just don't know it's called chiropractic.
That's right.
At this junction, I always allow the guests to share if there's anything I didn't ask you that you wanted to share with our audience today.
I'll share something. On August 28th, my buddy Sam Camerata, who's a chiropractor up in upstate New York, him and I are going to be going live on Facebook talking Softwave and success stories and sharing the technology live together on Facebook. Just spizzing out on the amazing impact that it makes, working with the very design of the body, and just seeking to reach more people with it and give people hope. That's the biggest thing. There's so much hope out there, and it doesn't have to come in a needle. It doesn't have to come in a pill. It doesn't come in a needle, and it doesn't come in a pill. That is just merely muted sense pushing something off. So that's what's coming up for me that I'd like to share. Yeah, rock and roll.
Well, cool. Share that with me, and I'll make sure that I post it to my socials too, man. I want more people to get in touch with you. And congratulations on starting your show. What's it called?
The Health Freedom Doctor Podcast.
And if people want to listen to it or connect with you, where do we send them to?
Send them to my website. I'm on Spotify and iTunes, Health Freedom Doctor Podcast. And if anybody wants to get a hold of me, I'll give you my email address. They can email me.
Sure. Pop it off.
drb@bradleywalter.com.
All right, guys. drb@bradleywalter.com. Check them out. The Freedom Health Podcast, Spotify, iTunes. Connect with this guy. Support his early ambitions of running the show and being an early adopter into his ecosystem. Love and appreciate you, Dr. Brad. Today was an absolutely amazing episode. If you guys are watching this and got to this far, please share the show. If you found some value in this, give us some thumbs up, subscribe to our channels. We love you guys. And I know that you're not going to get chiropractic messaging like we do from anywhere else. That's why we've been doing it as long as we have. That's why I keep banging the drum and I keep on producing this show and bringing more inspired conversations about this beautiful profession of chiropractic. In closing, I like to tell everybody, you guys are just one story away. Keep hustling. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye for now. Thanks, Dr. Brad.
Thank you, James.
Thanks for listening to Chiro Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.